Hello basketball players, today I'm going to talk to you about how you can make the basketball team you're trying out for. Yes, we all know tryouts are kind of stressful, and today I'm going to give you 5 tips on how you can make that team, or at least how you can make that team less stressfully. Anyways, so the number 1 tip is you better practice before you go to tryouts. There is no sense if you've never played basketball or if you're not practicing actively practicing anyways, there's no sense in really going to a tryout unless you're just natively, inherently better than everyone else on the court. You better be practicing. And even if you are better, you better be practicing anyways. Because if you're dribbling with your head down, or if you're dribbling with your palm, or if you're shooting and getting nowhere near the net, you're not going to make the team, and you might as well not even waste the money trying out. Because most teams now, unlike when I was a kid, most teams now do charge to try out. Usually it's $5, $10, $15, or $25. So make sure that you're practicing to be on that team. The easiest way to get on a team is to be number 1, being the number 1 best player in the tryout. That's the easiest way to make the team. Another tip for you on how you can make a team is also being a non-bully. So it's always good to challenge your players, to make more shots, to make more passes. However, if it turns from a challenge into bullying, then you're probably not going to make the team. A lot of coaches at the youth level have their own son on the team or their own daughter on the team. So if that's the case and they hear from their own kid that you may be the best, but you're kind of like bullying everybody, you're not going to be on the team because you're not going to be a fun player to be with. A good idea behind this is kind of like Jimmy Butler, who he has a lot of rumors around him being kind of like a bully and everything like that, and not really challenging the players, but instead putting them down. So don't be one of those players. We call them cancer, and they don't make the team. Now, my 3rd tip is to be coachable. So if a coach is telling you to do something, you should probably do it. There's probably a reason behind it. And even if you don't believe that what the coach is saying is right, try it anyways, just to make sure that, okay, maybe he is right, but also if he's wrong, it'll prove to him that he's wrong. So, for example, if he's saying on a 3-on-2 or on a 2-on-1, you want to hit the free throw line extended and cut in towards the basket, you better do that because obviously you're getting layups instead of doing what you might be doing, which is going down towards the deep corner and jacking up a 3. Now, there's a reason why a coach would want you to cut towards the rim on a fast break, and that's because the 2 points really close to the net is a little bit higher percentage than a 3-point out in the corner, unless your name is Brady Heslip. And if you don't know who that is, go check out, search his name. Anyways, it's a guy I used to play with. Anyways, so if you keep on going out towards the deep corner and wanting to jack up that 3-point shot on a fast break, the coach is not going to probably pick you unless you're shooting like 75% or better from out there. So there's some 2 cents on being coachable. Now, the worst thing that a player can do before trying out is going up to previous teams or previous players for that team and asking, what does the coach really need? Now, that can be a good insight into what the team really does need, but if that player says, man, we need a center, we need a big guy, and you're not a big guy, but you think, oh, they need a big guy, so I'm going to go down and play in the low post. I may be 5'2" at the age of like 16, but they need a center, so I'm going to be center. It's not going to work. You're not going to make the team. However, if they say, man, we need a 3-point shooter. We don't have a 3-point shooter, and we need to jack up some 3-point shots. Well, if you go in not being able to shoot a 3-point shot, and you're jacking up 20, 30 3-point shots in a tryout, and you're missing every single one of them, it's not going to make you look good. So what you need to do is do things that you're good at. So if you were to go up to a previous player and say, hey, what does the coach need? And they say, hey, we need a good 3-point shooter. If this is a couple of weeks before tryouts or a couple of months before tryouts, you can get some shots up, practice down low first, wherever you're comfortable at, jack up some shots from here, go to the free throw line, practice your free throw shots, and then reach out to the 3-point line and jack up some shots from here in practice. And if you get somewhat good where you're hitting once, maybe one or two every once in a while, and you have good form, it's showing to the coach that when you're trying out, if you shoot 2 or 3 threes in a tryout and you hit one of them, that looks a lot better. It looks a ton better. So do what you're good at. If you're good at slashing, definitely start slashing towards the rim. Start driving. Be like, get the ball, maybe fake that 3-point shot, drive in, drive as hard as you can, get that layup. But do what you're good at. Figure out what you're good at and do that in tryouts. Because if you're doing what you're good at in tryouts, you're going to make the team. Now, when I was going through the training camp down in the States for the Erie Bayhawks, this is many years ago, I was 200 pounds. I'm now 300 pounds now because of knee injuries, and surgeries and things like that. That's another story. But when I was trying out for that team, when I was going through the training camp, a training camp is basically tryouts. There was 18 players, and from there, I was one of 8 or 9 guards. And I'm 6'2", I was 200 pounds. And those guards, they were shorter. Some of them were 5'11", 5'10", 6 feet. I'm 6'2". They were a lot skinnier than me. They were a lot faster than me. But there was one thing that I always used, which was my weight. And I was able to push my way around those players by, when I get that ball, let's say I play swing guard, so that's point guard, shooting guard. And if I get that ball, and now if a shorter, faster guy is guarding me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and do a fake, a drive fake, some kind of a fake, maybe a shot fake, because I was a really good 3-point shooter. I was shooting, I think they marked me down as like 60-something% in the training camp in the 2 days that I was there. And when I would drive, I would put my shoulder down, but I would also get it lower than their shoulders. And because of my size and my weight, they wouldn't be able to get in front of me, because then if they're moving in front of me, they're going to be knocked down. It's a foul on them anyways. And get low and just power through. And if a center came out to play help defense, which happened a lot, there was a 7'3" or 7'2" Australian guy. He would come out, and because of my weight, I was able to go and body him and still get that layup. So you have to know what you're good at. I was good at using my weight for my advantage. I was able to get easy layups. And the reason why I was able to get easy layups was because I had a pretty good shot where I could bait the defense out to me, where now they're tight enough that I can beat them off the dribble. And now if the center came over, I knew that I was strong enough and big enough to be able to body him so I can get that layup. So do what you're good at. Now the last tip that I'm going to give you is work on your foot speed. Foot speed is very important in basketball because that's going to allow you to be faster than the player you're defending, and it's going to allow you to be faster than the player who's defending you. So it's a double-edged sword. You're going to be better on offense and better on defense. And this goes into kind of like the 5th tip as well, which is play really good defense. Don't be reaching in on players. Play tight, strong defense, and then maybe you can get onto that team as a defensive specialist. Myself, as a coach, when I'm picking players, I always pick one player. It doesn't matter if he can't shoot, if he can't drive, he can't dribble. If he can play defense, he's going to get a solid 5 to 10 minutes on the court. Because if we're playing up against a team that has one really good player, guess who's getting guarded by him? Yeah. I had a player, this is about, maybe 12 years ago, and he was a soccer player. He was a rep soccer player, which is our version of AAU. And he just wanted to try out for our team because he wanted something to do in the winter up here in Canada. Basically, our basketball season goes from at the high school level, goes from January up until about March, April, May, depending on how good you are. And from there, he was a defensive specialist. And I eventually taught him how to shoot a 3-point shot, which was handy because now he's really effective offensively and still very effective defensively. So if you can play defense, most teams will try and pick you up. And to work on your defense is foot speed. So ladder drills, just doing stutter step drills, stuff like that. I'm going to be putting some drills on this channel this summer about foot speed And that's one way you can make a team as well. Anyways, I hope that this video helps you become a better basketball player. I hope that you get to make that team that you're trying out for. And I'll see you guys again tomorrow for another Twice a Day basketball video.